Part 1. You will hear a customer services official giving information to a passenger at a bus counter in a town. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 7. Listen carefully to the discussion and answer questions 1 to 7.
Hello. My family and I are staying here in Birmingham for a week or two, and we want to know about the bus services. We're hoping to make a few express trips.
Well, I can give you lots of details about all the bus going from Birmingham to the southwest. This leaflet will be very helpful, but I can tell you some of the main things. We've got 2 main bus counters in the town. That Bristol is for local traveller lines and express services.
What about bus to London? I'll need to go there on business for 1 day.
And then you need to go to Central Counter. That's for all the local services. There is a regular bus to London. They leave Manchester every hour on weekdays, and every half an hour at weekends. It takes about 2 hours, a bit longer on Sunday. You've got a choice of the first and second class. The snacks are included in the cost of a first-class ticket.
Right, and have you got any information on different ticket types?
Yes. There's a range of ticket prices depending on when you travel and buy your ticket. There's an ordinary ticket, which doesn't have any restrictions. This can be purchased in advance or on that day. You can also get various discounted tickets. A popular one is called the Special Savings, and this is okay for travel after 6:45. Then that is the Express ticket, which is valid for travel after 8 a.m. The Express tickets are also suitable for travel at weekends. The cheapest tickets are called Advanced Ticket, and you have to buy them at least 6 days ahead. Only a certain number are available, and you have to make seat bookings for these.
Before the end of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 8 to 10. Listen carefully to the discussion and answer questions 8 to 10.
Thanks, and are there many places to go around here?
Oh, yes, you can enjoy many days out. There's the museum, which is only half an hour from Birmingham by bus. Your children will find it just as fascinating as any theme park, and they can ride in the original miners' lifts and on the coal bus. There are special excursion tickets, which include entrance fees. Mainline bus also offer direct services to Bristol, where you can visit the docks or spend a great day out with the children in the Botanical Garden, which is set in the parkland that used to surround the old castle. Particular family away day fares are available for this service during the school holidays. Alternatively, you can be in Birmingham in only an hour and a half, where there are lots to see and do, including the new and internationally acclaimed climbing partition, built on the site of the old aquarium. We will also be running an exceptional service to Newport, when the new Science Museum opens next year, as we anticipate a lot of visitors in the opening weeks. I'd advise you to call early to book your tickets. Is that okay?
Yes. Thanks.
That is the end of part 1. You will have half a minute to check your answers. Now, turn to part 2. Part 2. You will hear a discussion between student and teacher about a museum. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 17. Listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 17.
Good morning. We are happy to know that we will be a part of history for the visiting of the museum, which is very important for our history. But we are terrified of the location of the museum. Would you please help us by sharing the exact location of the museum? We heard that you have a map of that museum to reach there.
Definitely. Come with me. I am helping by providing the directions to the museum, with some vital information. Interestingly, all the areas are well marked for the visitors. As you can see, we're in the reception area, which we try to make attractive and welcoming to visitors. There's a corridor on your right, called by the authority, the main corridor, in front of the reception. If you go on your right using the main corridor, you will see the door facing you at the left, just 2 steps from the reception is called Sector 1. On the right, you will find the meeting room, and another is the waiting room. And I'm delighted that the room is decorated using natural daylight. There is a very big room in the museum. Using the main corridor, you have to go to the end of Sector 4. You can get to the art gallery by crossing to the first door of the office room, on your left, and then the door is on facing you. Somewhere, you'll be keen to find the cafeteria. This is right next to reception. I can confidently say that the food's delicious, but the view isn't. Just go outside to the museum at the entrance point and turn right, at that side of the reception room. At the end of the main road, turn left and the first you will get it, which aren't very attractive at all, and on the other onto the access road, which isn't much better. Then you'll need to know where some of the antique collection rooms are. So, you head to the right along the main corridor from reception, and it's the third room after the cafeteria you come to. And finally, the restroom where you'll sometimes be meeting. That has quite a pleasant view as it looks out onto the trees. Go along the corridor passing Sector 4 and left at Sector 3. And the warehouse is on the opposite of Sector 4, between Sector 2 and 3. Okay, now are there any questions before we?
Before the end of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 18 to 20. Listen carefully and answer questions 18 to 20.
Very interesting. And complex also. However, does the visit to the museum create any significant importance in our education and the new generation?
Okay. Let's talk about the importance of visiting museums. Museums are filled with information designed to enlighten and educate the curious mind. Especially for children, museums introduce them to unknown worlds, spark their imagination, and provide valuable learning experiences. Despite popular belief that museums only help fuel academic education, they help broaden their horizons and provide knowledge regarding all spheres of life. As informal learning environments, museums are a culmination of resources that promote informal education, which is a process by which individuals acquire values, knowledge, skills, etc. That does not apply to the field but will aid them for a lifetime. A single visit to a museum near you will provide in-depth knowledge about different subjects properly, that they can acquire slowly, for museums let you stay as long as you want. One of the biggest perks of visiting a museum is that, since it is so packed with exhibits and information, it gives the opportunity to analyze and relate between different displays and pinpoint what information is essential. Comparing this and the difference is crucial for developing children's critical thinking skills. Museums are well equipped to awaken curiosity in young minds, which will lead to these children asking questions. Some of these questions may have immediate answers, some of them might need a great deal of thought to answer, and some might not have any answers at all. No matter what they ask, all of these questions must be equally encouraged, and children must be given the confidence to find the answers to them on their own.
That is the end of part 2. You will have half a minute to check your answers. Now, turn to part 3. Part 3. You will hear a discussion between a student and a tutor about digital payments. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 24. Listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 24.
Good morning, everybody. I hope you're all ready for Jessica's presentation on digital payments. Are you ready, Jessica?
Yes, I'm ready. Thanks.
So, what exactly are digital payments? How do they work? And how much do people actually use them?
Well, it feels like we've been hearing about the digital economy for a long time. Now, many people say that they don't need physical cash anymore, because they can use cards to pay for shopping, tickets, food and so on, everything you need. But recently mobile payment systems have become available to anyone who uses a smartphone, so we're much closer to not needing hard cash to pay than we used to be. In fact, payments made using mobile phones are expected to reach $3.08 trillion worldwide this year, as more and more customers discover how easy it is to pay for things with their smartphones.
And is this a positive trend in general?
Well, like everything, there are merits and demerits for both buyers and for society as a whole. Whatever you think of the trend, it's not likely to reverse course anytime soon. We can't turn back the clock. The main advantage is that it's easier. It's easier for retailers, shops, cafes, cinemas and so on. And it's easier for us as a buyer.
Tell us more about the advantages.
Well, the most obvious advantage is effortlessly. Most of us already walk around with smartphones in our hands for most of the day. They are more accessible than our wallets and, unlike credit and debit cards, they are quick to use at the checkout line. There's no need to enter a code, and of course, no danger that you will forget your code either. Also, it's a very modern way to pay.
Before the end of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 25 to 30. Listen carefully and answer questions 25 to 30.
And what about benefits to the customers?
Well, customers can also benefit from digital systems, because having less physical cash on the premises means having fewer misplace of cash if there is a robbery.
Right. And what about the disadvantages? Are they?
The main disadvantage is security, or lack of it. Digital payments are easier to track, which raises privacy issues for consumers and security issues for companies that collect payment data. Cybersecurity threats like information theft and fraud are also a greater concern with digital transactions.
That's a serious issue. But there's also something that I worry about with digital payment. There are some people who just won't use them. Elder people, for example, or people who don't have bank accounts. I think they will be deprived if there isn't the option to use cash.
You're right. This is another big issue. As society goes digital, the divide between rich and poor, those who have bank accounts and smartphones and those who don't, becomes bigger. Those who don't have are unable to participate. There are already many stores that don't take cash at all and, of course, people who don't have a cash card or a smartphone can't use those shops. This situation will only get worse, and it is one of the societal challenges that we have to deal with if we choose to move to a digital society.
Well, thank you, Mark, for that overview of digital payments. That was really interesting. Now let's move on to...
That is the end of part 3. You will have half a minute to check your answers. Now, turn to Part 4. Part 4. You will hear a lecture about computer and child education. First, you will have some time to look at questions 31 to 40. Listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
Hello everyone. Welcome to this morning's lecture on the subject of computer and child education. This is most important in a series of lectures organized for the university. I'm Henry Robert, and I'm a scientist with a particular interest in this initiative. Well, children study and learn today, both at home and school, radically different from the past. The increased availability and relatively low price of modern technology have been instrumental in this change. However, while current technologies, such as computers and the Internet, are essential in assisting a child's learning, this learning should be guided and engaged by the experience of human teachers. Undeniably, computers and the Internet are extensively used in education, and they can present knowledge in a vivid and novel way. The computer and the Internet can also enable students to enhance their general understanding of how to solve difficulties in their study and give them vital skills in readiness for later life. In recent years, computers have been tremendously used in schools and colleges. Computers have given a lot of benefits both for the teachers and students. Teachers can get reference materials easily, and students can refer to readings and references with a click. While some scholars have claimed that the computer is highly beneficial, some others have pinpointed its several drawbacks. It is clear that the Internet has provided students with access to more information than ever before. They can get the information they require easily, with the help of computers. Children who are exposed to computers can gather more information, use them again and again, and store them effortlessly. When computers are connected to the Internet, a wider range of reading materials, audio, videos, and additional learning materials can easily be accessed. They can download and save the materials and use them in future. Nobody can deny that the acquisition of knowledge is more fun and easier with computers. We can learn while playing games, we can watch videos on different topics, we can also read national and international news. We can do more tasks at the same time on the computers. Some students resolve maths problems by listening to music on computers. Learning with the computer is more interactive and engaging. We can easily search for information in it. We can install dictionaries and other software which can be used as learning tools. However, many disagree and feel that technology deprives people of real human interaction. People argue that overdependence on technology can make the students less creative and passive. It is said that computers affect students' creativity and stop them to think innovatively. In computers, there are so many games which make the students addicted to playing. Sometimes, students simply download materials from the Internet directly, without understanding them. There are also many things on the Internet that spoil the youngsters' minds, and make them deviate from studies. Too much exposure to the computer and Internet games causes mental stress, and as a result, students cannot concentrate on their studies. This definitely leads to lower grades. Therefore, computers almost certainly have a negative impact on students. These negative impacts should not deter students from using computers in education. As computers are becoming an important tool for teaching, teachers should be aware of their roles in education. They should guide students to use computers for the acquisition of knowledge, not simply as a transmitter of facts. The vast knowledge sources available through computers should be used for enriching education. Teachers should instruct the students to use the resources for a good purpose. There should be a timetable regarding when to study books, when to write on paper, and when to use computer resources. Balanced use of multiple engagements means is important.
That is the end of part 4. You will have half a minute to check your answers. In your real test, we'll get another 10 minutes to transfer your answer to your answer sheet.